What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Scale News Update. If you're not familiar with the show, this is where we talk about the news topics that happened in the scale world of RC over the past week. If you enjoy the Scale News Update regularly, hit the like button now. Let's jump into this week's topics. First for this week, traction hobbies. Now, months ago, we talked about a little teaser that was kind of spread around the internet with some very rudimentary photos of an upcoming large-scale rally-style Porsche. Now, it appears that it's getting closer because if you go to the Traction Hobbies website, they've got a banner ad for the Porsche 934 Rally that you see over my shoulder here. But if you click on the banner, it takes you nowhere. Really just actually reloads the page. Now, there was a model show over in Japan last week, I believe, or the week before, the Tokyo All Model Show or something along those lines. Anyway, a Chinese YouTuber was going through there, or whatever, Billy. A Chinese creator was walking through and they caught a glimpse of it, but didn't stop to get more info. So I wasn't able to find anything else out, but it does appear that this is coming soon, around the corner. Now, on the Traction Hobbies website, you'll also see that Primal is listed with it as well. So I'm not sure if this large scale, or I'm guessing that this large scale platform is being done in conjunction with Primal. So a little bit closer to this release. I think that this thing could be cool. I'm interested to see what the final product for this is and when we actually see the full release of this. I hope that it's coming soon. Being that it's on their website in the way that it is, I'm hopeful that we'll see it here in the next month or so. If and when that does happen, we'll definitely cover it here on Scale News Update because I think that this thing could be pretty cool. Next, Element released a new RTR this week. Well, kind of new. They're putting portals on their old trucks. I assume that that's what we're going to see from Element here for, some time at least. Just kind of going back through the line and adding portals to things. This time we get the Trailwalker again. One that I don't know that we saw a ton of the Trailwalker from the initial release. I think that they did a couple of different releases of it. They did the scratch and sniff style body, and now we've got the Portal Plus. Now this one does come with a rear cap on it to try and give it more of a, not really SUV, but camper shell or a topper cap, whatever you want to call it, on the back of this. It doesn't sit exactly flush on the top. You can see it kind of sits up there. So it is just kind of resting on top. Not sure exactly how secure it is or what the thought is with that exactly, but we do have the regular Element portals just bolted onto this, which does attribute a little bit to the ride height that it looks like you see here. It sits really tall. There's a lot of gap between how it's setting at ride height and how that it, everything looks. So maybe not totally optimized for the portals, but they think people want portals on everything, so they're just doing what they have with what they already have done, which is kind of what it looks like. Now, this did add a significant cost. Now, this over the original Trailwalker is a $90 difference, which is a lot for the portals that they put on there with having all centered gears inside the whole deal. So it seems like a big jump in price for what they did, especially with how they've been kind of going to some of the cheaper electronics in some of these with like the 2-in-1s and the almost like 24 scale style radios that have been coming on some of their newer trucks as well. So the cost difference between the non-portal and the portal seems a little off to me. Not sure why, but portals are definitely popular. People are going to like that. And a truck body like this Trailwalker, some people are also going to like. The color choice, that's a personal preference thing. If you are interested in this, this is called the Element Trailwalker Portal Plus. I don't know exactly where the plus comes from. I don't see anything about what they've added to this that makes it like a higher spec. As like I said, it does come with the 2-in-1 electronics and things along those lines. So it does have a cloth style spare tire cover. Maybe that's the plus. But if you're interested in this one, it is currently listed as a pre-order. So you can get your order in on that. It does appear that these are going to be shipping fairly quickly though. New from Dlux Fab this week, we have the Iron Rock 1.9 scale tires. Now, Dlux has done tires in the past, but this is the first time that I know of that they've done a scale tire. This is the 1.9 4.75 inch tall tire. And it's styled after, very clearly I believe, styled after a cut TSL, which is a very popular way to modify those tires in the full-size world. And Dlux has put their version of that out. Now this does have a very smooth sidewall, no detail at all on the side, including the text and the font. It's as basic as it gets. They put a tread pattern on it, and that's where they stop. They're done. Send it off, get it molded. As I mentioned, Dlux has had a number of tires over the years, and they've played around with compounds during that time as well. I know some of their early ones didn't have the best reputation of working well, but I believe that their newer versions are much more capable. Thanks to Dlux Fab for emailing me that product listing. If you work for a company or are directly related to the marketing of a company and you have a story for a new product that you would like to put on the Scale News Update, you can shoot me an email at news@harleydesigns.com. Also, thanks to the channel members for supporting the Scale News Update and my channel a little bit more. If you're interested in channel membership, you'll find a link in the description below. You get to see videos early, like Scale News Update. You also get extra videos like After News Delight, which is just an extension of the Scale News Update, a little bit more in depth, a little bit more candid. Then there's some other member videos along the way as well. A little bit of appreciation for the extra support to the channel. Again, if you're interested, there's a link below. This week, Proline had a couple of new releases. First of all, they had the Holcomb beadlock wheels, now in a 155. Of course, the molded design helps keep the cost down. Beadlocks allow you to change them quickly because if you're choosing 155s, you're definitely going to change them quickly. Who would run 155s? These are on pre-order currently. I assume that they'll be released soon unless they come to their senses. And Proline's second release for the week were some Class 1 4.19 inch tall 1.9 BFG TAKOs. Very classic styling, reminds me of my high school days. They showed them on the K10 body that Proline makes, which they looked perfect on. I thought it looked excellent. So if you love the styling of these, obviously it's been one that's been around for quite some time. We've seen options for this tread pattern before. I just don't know that we ever saw it in 4.19, at least from Proline. So if you're interested in those, also on pre-order, probably going to come out about the same time as those 155s. This Wednesday, next episode of Praise Wheel. That's a series where Matt and I are taking Vanquish H10 optics and upgrading it every week by the direction of a wheel. The wheel last week, it finally happened. So check in this week for the update on that, or if you're a channel member, you should be able to see that a little bit early. And then this Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, live stream takeover where Matt and I will be spinning the wheel again for this second half, the back stretch of Praise Wheel. See what we can get done in the last, I believe, 3 weeks remaining after this week. Time flies. This week, Axial released another SCX24. This time, it's the Basecamp version. Basecamp is the Basecamp body that we saw from the 1/10 scale version, now in 1/24 scale. 3 different colors available: pink, white, and silver, I think. Like the 1/10 scale, the Basecamp name means, who knows? It doesn't have portals like the 10th scale one. It's just a regular SCX24 underneath. It does have the upgraded electronics and shocks and things like that. But beyond that, it's just named after the body. Because Axial still doesn't know what that name means either. And for our next RTR of the week, FMS released the FCX10 Toyota LC80. If you like Toyota LC80s, you're probably gonna like this one. Other than it's got like a little bit of a funky front fender line. Looks a little bit off, but beyond that, it is a polycarbonate body, so not a hard body, but still looks good. It's got a full detailed interior with a driver figure portion in there. Detailed dash, it says. It comes with a lighting system pre-installed as well. The description of this is poorly translated. If you want a good, funny read, go read through their description. Underneath the FCX10 platform, pretty much unchanged from the first version we saw, which was pretty much unchanged from the TRX4 they were clearly looking at while designing it. But nonetheless, $299 for this, which is like an introductory price if you want to pre-order. It says these things are going to be shipping like the end of, or the middle of November or so, 15th of November it currently says, but that's like they have a note in there that's depending on ports and things like that. So $350 appears to be the normal price for this, but if you want to buy early, $299, that's not a bad price. The website does say that this is US only and can only be shipped to the contiguous US. So Hawaii and Alaska, Canada, Mexico, Europe, I don't know. Evidently not available at any of those places. Don't know why that specifically is, but it's their website. So maybe we'll hear more information about that. Maybe not, but if you're interested, you can pre-order now and save yourself $50. This week, JConcepts has bestowed on us another new body design, this time the 1990 Chevrolet S10 Tucked version. Tucked is JConcepts' phrase for having a pinched and dovetailed appearance. For some reason, they like to use the word tucked. I don't know why that is the word that they've chosen for this situation. It makes me laugh every time. I can't help it. I'm a child. It's not the most exciting body to look at for this. I mean, if you just got a soft spot for S10s, then okay. You know, it's probably one of your very few options that are or will be available. So, you know, for that reason, maybe they'll get some buyers. I just feel like even within just JConcepts' current line, I just don't see this one being a wild success compared to some of the other options. RC4 Drive posted up this week that they've got some new scale hex bolt hardware. So this is standard like M3 hardware in a number of different sizes with a regular hex head to it. So it doesn't use a hex driver. It uses like more of a socket style to be driven, which you will need one that specifically fits these options. The photos that they use for this is for the M3 hardware specifically, but it's like the photos or the hardware itself, it's hard to tell. Like you don't get a great look at the defined shape of a hex head. Like you don't clearly see the sharp edges of the styling. So it's like, I don't know if they need to like just take some better product photography of this, because right now they just look like circles. There's dots all around. So it looks like a rivet almost head instead of a hex head, you know, that scale look that they're trying to achieve. You know, beyond that, they do look pretty large overall. So like it loses some of that scale to it, but I think that it just needs a little bit better photo to make this like really sell what the look that they're going for really is. But they've got this in a couple of different hardware finishes and in a number of different lengths. So if that's along the lines of what you're needing for a project or you're interested in having it for a project, check that out. Make sure you look for the proper driver that you will need to actually, you know, use them as well. If you watched last week's Praise Wheel episode, you will know that I had to ask Nicole what I had to do for the week as part of what I hit on the wheel. And as part of that, she asked me to put a QR code on the side of the vehicle that would link to a fundraiser for type 1 diabetes research, a cause that her and I both support because it's something that our little nephew has. After that video went up over the following days, you guys helped to raise about $3,000, which we both just want to say thank you very much for that support. It means a lot. The fundraiser walk was last weekend and their team was one of the top 20 earners in Kansas City. So again, just wanted to say thank you to everybody for that. It was really appreciated. For those of you building custom Axial SCX6s, UCFab posted that they've got a new transmission called the FRD6 transmission. Now this is meant to be a compact, stout transmission specifically for that size build. Now you could use it in a regular SCX6 if you wanted, because you are going to lose like almost 2 pounds of weight compared to the stock transmission to this more compact version. UCFab has, you know, the point of what they're using it for is that they have done like custom moon buggies at that scale, and the large stock transmission, obviously much more difficult to package than something that's very tiny. Now, it's not cheap, $275 for this. You also will lose the 2-speed capability that the stock transmission has. But if you're building a moon buggy or custom buggy of some sort around that, then that might be something that you're just fine with. If you're interested in that transmission, it's not on their website yet, but it says that they'll be exclusively selling it through their site. So if you're looking for that, you can find that on the Ultra Custom Fab website in the coming days or weeks, possibly. Didn't see an exact date when you're going to see that hit the market. A company that we've talked about a couple of times over the last 2 or 3 years is the Hardbody Crawler Company. And unfortunately, they are closing their doors, going out of business. But they did mention that they are going to be doing 50% off all of the inventory that they have left until then. So if you're interested in anything that they still have left on their website, you can go to the hardbodycrawler.com to find what their remaining inventory still is. But that does it for this week's news topics. For this week's question, we talked about a number of items that were posted up this week that will be available or going to be available sometime soon, but aren't yet. Pre-order mainly type thing. So I want to know, are you the type that is willing to pre-order something, or are you just, nope, I'll wait till it's available and when I know I can get it and then I'll buy it? And if you are the type to pre-order, how long have you waited for a pre-order? Whatever it may be. Did you get on the Cybertruck pre-order 2 years ago? Did you pre-order a PS5 or an Aerotech scale motor? Still waiting 15 years later? Let me know what your stance is on pre-orders. But that's going to do it for this week's Scale News Update. Once again, thanks to everybody who watches every Tuesday. If you enjoy it, hit the like button. Subscribe if you're not already. Consider the channel membership if you want to help support the channel a little bit extra. But with that, as always, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.